Welcome back to Math with Miss Grandi. That is not how I want my theme song to go, but yeah, thank you for the person who suggested some theme song. I think it was Andre, but maybe Demarion. I don't remember which is who is which, but I don't know what song you're referring to. So yeah, I'll have to Google that later. I wanted to come make a second percentage video because there's a fourth way that you could find percents. So last video, we went ahead and talked about the double number line, about the benchmark percents, and then about setting the percents up as a fraction. So these were the three ways that we did it. And as I was doing it and finished wrapping up the video, I thought of a fourth way that potentially you guys would want to do it. And like I said, benchmark or this fourth way is actually the way that I prefer to do it, and it's the way that I do it all the time. Whenever I go get my hair done and I have to figure out tip, I will use this method in order to do that. So it is more of a formula-based method. So we were looking at 24% of 50. And what I know for sure is that a percent can also be written as a decimal, and it's still an equivalent number. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it into a decimal. Remembering that percent means out of 100, so it's 24 over 100. Therefore, I have to move the decimal 2 times to the left to make it into a decimal. So my decimal of 24% is 24 hundredths, which makes sense because, again, percents is 24 out of 100, aka 24 hundredths. So I now have my percent as a decimal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ultimately multiply my percent as a decimal times the whole. So this would kind of be sort of a equation that you could potentially use to help you remember. So this is going to be the part, this is going to be the percent, and then this is going to be the total or the whole. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this equation into what I know. So the part is going to be equal to the percent as a decimal, so 24 hundredths, times the total. In this case, our total was 50, so times 50. And then go ahead and multiply 24 hundredths times 50. Remembering to put how many decimals I have off to this side. I promise you, if you use this strategy, it will help you so much at the end. So now I'm going to go ahead and multiply. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. And because I'm moving on to the tens place now, I have to add a 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. Now I have to add them together. And I have to make sure that I have 2 numbers behind the decimal. So 1, 2, put a decimal. This means that the part is equal to 12. So 24% of 50 is 12. And that is exactly what we got the first time that we did it, the 3 different ways. So now you might be saying, well, how do I take this and do it whenever I have a problem like this? 10 is what percent of 50? So my part, my total, or the whole, and the percentage. So I'm going to fill in what I know. I know my part is 10. 7th grade, this has also been called your quantity, or how much you have. And I know the whole, or the total, is 50. and I don't know the percent. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to use a variable to represent it. And then I'm going to fill in as the part equals the percent times the total. 7th grade, don't confuse this with iParty. It is a different formula. iParty is used to find interest. This is just used to find percents. So I'm going to fill in what I know. So 10 equals, don't know my percent, so my variable, times 50. And I'm going to use inverse operations to solve this. So I could rewrite this as 10 equals 50x. Whenever I have a number right next to a variable, that means I'm multiplying. So the opposite or the inverse of multiplication is a division. And because 50x divided by 50 leaves us with just x, and then 10 divided by 50, I'm going to simplify by dividing both by 10, and I know anytime I divide a number by 10, it means the decimal is going to move one place to the left. So my zeros are going away, and I'm left with 1/5. You can't say 1/5%. Instead, you have to find this as a decimal. So I'm going to dump it over and divide. So 1 divided by 5 goes in 0 times. Add my decimal, bring it up, add a 0. 5 goes into 10 2 times. And in order to turn my decimal, or my value of x, into a percent, I need to do the opposite of what I did here, turning my percent into a decimal. So I'm going to move it 2 times to the right to turn it into a percent. So that means x equals 20%. So 10 is 20% of 50, which is exactly what we got this first time as well. And so there's all of my work, as you can see. Again, if you have questions, comments, leave them in the comments below, and I will definitely try to answer those throughout the night. Please be a little patient. Obviously, I have things that I need to get done as well, but I will be checking the questions, I guess the comments where you place your questions, and answering them periodically throughout the night, as well as posting this to the Instagram. So if you also have questions, you can post it there as well. Click like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, follow me on Instagram. Maybe I'll get a Twitter, even though I have no idea how to work Twitter, but I didn't have any idea how to work YouTube either, so I can figure it out. And maybe I'll get a MySpace. Ask your parents about that one.